Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're checking in or whatever time you're checking in. I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. So this is a pretty interesting topic and a lot of people have been asking me about it, so I wanted to make a really quick kind of tips and tricks video on my favorite way to target walleyes this year or this time of year in the Detroit River, but this also works really well in the St. Clair River as well, and then also Saginaw, and it's a little bit different technique. And I'm not saying I came up with it, but I accidentally stumbled upon it last year during the MWT Walleye Series in the Detroit River when the jigging bite was pretty tough for us. I mean, I struggled to jig. It's something I'm not that efficient at. And we found some slack water last year and got kind of pushed into this area by accident. And guys, we absolutely train wrecked the walleye with a little bit different technique and different strategy that you bass guys probably already know about. But on the walleye side, it's something that's becoming more and more popular, and that's casting for these walleye. So don't get me wrong, guys. Jigging, by far, hands down, is a really good, effective way to catch walleye in the Detroit River. Been proven for years. You guys know my main sponsor, Lure Lipstick, has got a great line of jigging products. I'll leave a link to their website here in this video so you guys can check it out. But you know, that's just a really good way to catch walleye, hands down. No denying that. But what you're starting to see is more people incorporate casting into their techniques. So me being a bass guy, naturally I love to cast, right? So I just so happen to have my box of lipless crankbaits. You guys can see here, I'm a big fan of Rapala Rippin' Wraps, and these specifically are number 7 Rippin' Wraps. So this is the Road Trip. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that color, but these are number 7s. These are 7/8 ounce, and they work really good for getting them down pretty deep, pretty fast. And they're pretty easy to work, right? They're really actually not that complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down my setup for you real quick and then talk to you about where to look for these areas when you want to try to cast for these walleye. So super simple setup, guys. This is a 7-foot medium heavy fax action Abu Garcia. This is the Vendetti series with a Revo SX spinning reel. It's like 6.2 to 1. I've got this with 10-pound high vis Power Pro braid, so you guys see right there, there's the braid that I use. And then I also have about a 3-foot leader of 12-pound cigar fluorocarbon. So here's the fluorocarbon that I use. But what I've also got too is, I know it's gonna be hard to see, but I have this tied on with a small barrel swivel, because with the current in these rivers, that current wants to swirl, those fish want to shake their heads, and I really just like having a barrel swivel up there. Pretty common for jigging in some cases as well. And then what I have is, you can see I've got connected here with a snap. I've got it connected with a really small snap so I can change colors. But that's a setup, guys. Like that's all I use. I use this exact same setup for topwater fishing with some bass lures. I use the same setup for trolling for steelhead. So it's pretty versatile. So you all probably have one of these setups already in your arsenal. When it comes to lure color, I've really kind of narrowed it down to 3 colors. I mean, I know I have my pinks, obviously, my fire tigers. I've got some crawfish patterns as well, but these 3 colors are my favorite. This is the Road Trip. Okay, this is one from Rapala. This is the Bad Lipstick. So this has got some purple and gold in it. You guys can see that right there. And then they love this perch color, honestly. Perch are obviously a dominant fish that those fish are feeding on, but they absolutely love this perch color. One thing that we found out too last year is that the sawguy sauce, so the Lure Lipstick sawguy sauce, and I just take this and coat it. This is the chapstick formula. I just rub it all over that lure, and guys, it just seems like that scent and the vibration really draw those fish in. So let me talk about that real quick, why I think this strategy is so effective. So when you're jigging for the fish, it's almost purely reaction, right? Like you're jigging, depending on your cadence, that jig is kind of coming in front of their face real quick and they just react to it, right? So when it comes to casting in these kind of slack water areas, not kind of slack water areas, the vibration that these give off, because these have a really loud rattle in them, that vibration those fish can pick up in their lateral line, and they're a predatory fish, right? So they hear that rattle coming through the water, then they smell the scent on it as well, and it's just something different that they're not seeing. And we found a lot of times last year, not even outside of the tournament, I could pull into an area where a ton of guys were jigging and the bite was so-so, find some slack water, where those fish maybe were getting pushed into because there's so much jigging pressure, and start casting, and just it was like back to back to back. I actually took my father-in-law out to the Detroit River. I think it was the second or third time he'd ever been out there, and we went there after the tournament, and I put him in this area, and it was just cast after cast after cast. And it's really simple to work these lures. So talked about the colors, the setup, how to work these baits, guys. Super simple. This is going way against the grain when it comes to traditional ways to catch walleye in the Detroit River. And I know this video is probably going to get some interesting comments, and I will document more of this during our MWT series and then throughout the walleye season, just to kind of share with you as much as I can. But what we do is we find these slack water areas, and we'll cast into sometimes 3-4 foot of water. I mean, super shallow water. Let that lure hit the bottom, and once it hits the bottom, all you're going to do is pull up about a foot. You're going to feel that lure vibrate and then hit the bottom. So you're basically going to work it like a lipless or like a blade bait. You know, so you're going to cast out, let it hit bottom, and then pulse it, let it hit bottom. Pulse it, let it hit bottom. And you're just going to do that all the way back to the boat, and you'll know when they hit, it's up. I mean, it's an aggressive hit. There's no denying when they hit. And it's really that simple, right? And as far as the areas goes, you just have to go out there and look. We didn't get a ton of time to look last year. The Canadian borders are open, so we're going to go to the Canadian side this year and really try to find some other areas to fish. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this really quick kind of tips and tricks video on my favorite, by far, hands down, my favorite way to target walleyes in the Detroit River. I haven't really caught a ton of giants yet on it, but I feel if we find that school of fish, those bigger fish, they're going to eat these things because they just love it. They just can't resist it. So if the jig and bite's slow, or if you're looking for a little bit different way to try to target walleye in the Detroit River or the Saginaw River or the Lake St. Clair or St. Clair River, do not overlook using a number 7 rip and wrap. I use the number 7 just because the current's really fast. I actually use these for vertical jigging too. There's times where the current's not super fast and we're jigging, and I'll drop that thing down there, and again, they can feel that vibration, they can hear it, they can smell it, and it just seems to get more of a reaction bite. So again, just something else to add to your arsenal. Don't shy away from it. Make sure you got a box of these with you. A couple colors, like I said, perch, and then the bad lipstick, and then last but not least, Road Trip. Incorporate some of the lure lipstick scent, which I'll leave a link to this scent in this video so you guys can check it out. But guys, just give it a try. It obviously is something that I want to do more of, and it's really got me excited about walleye fishing this year in the Detroit River. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're getting really close to 1,000 followers. Really appreciate all the support. Leave a thumbs up, leave a comment if you guys like this kind of content. If you guys want me to break down more in detail about where we're fishing as far as some of the areas to look for, I can do that stuff. Just let me know in the comments. But again, I really do appreciate your support. And remember, the easiest way to change your attitude is by showing gratitude. Thanks, and we'll catch you in the water next time.